Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Hi, welcome to the Dick Morris and Doug DePiero show.
Hello, Dick Morris.
Sponsored by the Patriot Gold Group. The Democratic Party has totally lost its mind. Completely. It has now managed to work itself into a box in the Senate and in international affairs, and in Cuba, in the Middle East, in Latin America, that it can't possibly extract itself from. We'll start with the box that they put themselves in Iran. The United States is now on the verge of completely eliminating the armed forces of Iran. And they have no navy. Whatever ships they had are at the bottom of the ocean someplace. They have no intelligence forces. Their headquarters have been all knocked out. And Trump is basically saying the war is over. Remember in the 60s, people would say, I declare that the war is over.
Yeah.
And we're trying to announce to the world that the war is over. And then Iran is taking the position that if you strike us, if you come back and you continue this war, we're going to punish you by by punishing countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia and the Middle East.
I don't think so.
You fight us and we'll hit back against them. So nobody's fighting, nobody's hitting the United States. Nobody's talking about hitting the United States. And it's a good thing they're not, because the Senate has voted not to allow Homeland Security into the United States to defend itself.
The Democrats.
Yeah, the Democrats are.
Bunch of morons.
I mean, incredible. And at the same time, this is going
Dick,
on.
you say that they're in a box. It's a steel trap type of box.
Yeah.
They're not going to get out of this box.
Exactly. And Trump is saying he's not ready to negotiate a deal with Iran because he's basically defeated them. And he says he thinks Iran is keen to come to the table, but the U.S. would fight on for better terms and might bomb Karag Island once again. For more than 2 weeks, the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran, neither side is moderating its rhetoric despite the mounting death toll. Iran wants to make a deal, but I don't want to make it because the terms aren't good enough yet, Trump said.
Right.
Warning that U.S. strike would step up strikes on the Iranian coast north of the Straits of Hormuz to clear a path for oil shipments to resume.
So basically, Dick is going to shut off his volume of his phone so phone doesn't go off while we're talking.
So Iran is essentially saying we are continuing this war, even though we have no navy, we have no intelligence forces, we have no domestic security forces, and all we can do to continue this war and make the United States give up is to bomb a third, fourth, fifth, and sixth countries in the Middle East, who have always been the U.S.'s enemy and Israel's enemy. And if that isn't good enough, we're going to continue to punish the United States by attacking third countries. And while this is going on, the U.S. Senate is beginning debate on the SAVE Act. And for the first time since the 2020 election, we're actually going to have a national vote, a national referendum on the issue of whether or not we should be permitted to defend ourselves. And it's an unbelievable situation.
A growing block of House Republicans is now drawing a bright red line in the sand. No more Senate business moves through the House until the Senate passes the SAVE Act in America, right?
So the Straits of Hormuz are closed. The U.S. Senate is closed. The ICE is closed.
The airports are
are closed. Homeland Security is closed. And the Democrats are vowing to keep it that way.
The Democrats are closed-minded.
Yeah. It's an unbelievable
So according
situation.
to Republican Brandon Gill and Representative Anna Paulina Luna, nice name, this is not some fringe rebellion by a handful of members. It could be 40 to 50 Republicans, more than enough to bring the House floor to a grinding halt.
Yeah, I forgot to list that the House is closed.
The House is closed. The front door is closed. Yeah. That threat is politically devastating for the Senate establishment, which has spent weeks dragging its feet while grassroots conservatives, President Trump, and election integrity advocates demanded action on the SAVE Act. The legislation already passed by the House in February would require proof of citizenship and voter ID for federal elections. The Gateway pundit previously reported that the House passed a bill 218 to 213 with only one Democrat, Harry Kula, is that how you say his name, of Texas, voting yes. One Democrat. Can you believe that, to have voter ID for voting? Now House conservatives are making it clear that they are done waiting. During a Fox News appearance with Kayleigh McEnany, Brandon Gill said the House GOP bloc is willing to block Senate legislation. It's already substantial. So he's going to do it. He's making a great name for himself, Brandon. I see him all the time, and he goes at people.
We helped him get elected by getting Trump to endorse him.
Yeah, you got Trump to endorse him. And he's a nice guy, and his wife, beautiful. He's got 2 kids now. Anyway, he's doing great things. I mean, he really...
He's coming.
He's coming up. 3rd cycle. He's going to wait. He's not stupid. Plus, he's young. 3rd cycle, he's going to run. I know he will. He will. If you're listening to me, Brandon, call in.
Well, so the Democratic Party has completely boxed itself into, as you put it, a jail.
A steel box.
They can't pass anything in the House because they won't agree to let something pass the Senate.
Just for the hate of Trump.
And they're in a situation where the government can't function, and it's closing at a time of major national security threat from terrorism. And the only thing that's keeping it going is that Trump is unilaterally using ICE, which the Democrats are blocking and defunding.
He knows how to go around these people.
To open airports.
He's brilliant. It's 3D chess, as I always say. People say, he's not so smart.
He's incredible.
The guy's incredible.
When he announced the other day that he was going to use ICE to replace the TSA
that was
people.
Great.
Okay. So what he's going to do is he's going to really help illegal immigrants by putting ICE agents at the checkpoint screening places.
Dick, what do I always say? That everything the Democrats do, like this big stuff, the borders and whatever it is, right, bites them in the butt. It ends up biting. Now they're doing this, and Trump's going to bring ICE into the TSA.
Right.
This is so rich.
Yep.
Anyway, Republican Senator Mike Lee says there has been major progress in the push to save to pass the Save America Act after mounting pressure on Senate leadership to move the legislation forward. In an update to supporters, Lee, the lead sponsor of the Save America Act, said recent discussions with Thune and his staff had led to meaningful progress on how the bill could be debated and brought to a vote. As the Gateway pundit has repeatedly exposed, Thune, the same weak-kneed establishment hack who mock grassroots conservatives as paid influencers, refused to nuke the filibuster and spent weeks making excuses why he couldn't deliver for President Trump. He has been forced to bend. Lee confirmed the breakthrough in the new video clip, a hybrid form of taking filibuster, is now set to be implemented. That means Democrats will be forced to take the floor and defend their radical anti-voter ID agenda, possibly for hours or even days, against a bill that 85% of American people support. Here's the full statement from Mike Lee. Okay, important update on the Save America Act. and the effort to get it passed. Look, I am guardedly optimistic. We've turned a kind of corner over the last few days. There's been some uncertainty about exactly what procedure we will not be using. In the end, we've been working closely with Leader Thune and his staff. It's hard to believe that, right? And they've been great to work with. What we're coming up with is something that I think is best described as a hybrid version of the talking filibuster. But look, let's not get mirrored down in a nomenclature. I know, what a word to use. How about let's not get down and making names of all these things. How about we just say that? What matters far more than what we call it is what we do with it. It's not what we call it, it's what we do with it. We're going to bring it to the floor. We're going to debate it for an extended period of time before filing cloture. And in my view, he got all these words. And in my view, at least, I don't want to speak for anyone else. This bill needs to remain on the Senate floor before we file cloture for as long as it takes to get it done. Now the fact that the Leader Thune and his office have been willing to work with us on this and that they appear open to a variation of that is a good thing. So let's keep up the momentum. Let's encourage them to continue to do this. Let's put on the bill on the floor. Let's make those who want to filibuster speak and keep it on there as long as possible. So there's a lot of talking going on.
We're talking about continuing to talk. But the main thing to take from all of this is that Trump has protected the country by sending the ICE agents into the airport. And the Democrats are threatening to cut off funding that we don't need because he already has the ICE agents going into the airport.
Wait, what funding that we don't need? What are they saying?
ICE agents.
The ICE agents. Oh, yeah.
Right.
And he's got how many more months left on funding for the ICE agents? He's got a short amount of time left, right?
No, he could keep it going all the time.
As if it's an emergency.
He's got the ICE agents helping the people at the airport.
Right.
And the closure of the airport simply means, in practical terms, that the airport screening will now be done by the worst enemies of the illegal immigrants.
Right.
The Democrats are trying to protect.
That's so awesome.
No more TSA agents who routinely pass everybody.
Right.
Instead, they're actually going to have to deal with ICE agents right now, which is their worst nightmare. Unbelievable.
I noticed they lightened up a little bit.
They've completely lost their minds.
Oh, the Democrats?
Yeah.
Oh, forget it.
And in order to disempower the ICE agents, they're not funding them and giving them, and then Trump is using this chance to give the ICE agents control over the airports.
Unbelievable. He also cites obstacles to regime change in Iran. He says this regime is machine gunning protesters in the street. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
I mean, in how many more ways do you need the Iranians to give up?
And how many more things do they have to do for the Democrats to say, wait a minute, this regime is horrible. I want this guy, these people out of there. Right. You know what I mean? And they still, because they hate Trump, don't agree with any of this.
Yeah. And
once again, shooting themselves in the foot.
Completely true. Trump derangement syndrome.
It's so.
That's what Fetterman, the Democratic senator from Pennsylvania, says that Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, is now the policy of the Democratic Party because they have nothing else that they're doing that could possibly define as rational or even related to an objective.
I can't see how independents, the people out on the fence, would possibly ever vote for Democrats right now, like in the midterms. I just don't see it happening.
And
good for them.
That the Democrats, Fetterman said it best, the only thing that unites the Democratic Party, the only thing that vaguely is a policy of the Democratic Party,
is the hate for Trump.
The only thing they could ever put in a platform for the Democratic Party is that they hate Trump.
How could are there any other people in the Democratic Party? I said, wait a minute. What are we going to do to help the country other than Fetterman?
Yeah.
I didn't like him in the debates. I thought he was really off, but he was hurt. Yeah, he had a stroke.
Yeah.
And he was off.
Right.
He's not off now. You hear him speak.
Yeah.
He's pretty coherent. He's okay.
And coherence is not an asset for the Democratic Party.
Well, that's why they have bumper stickers. That's why it's a little, 4 or 5 word bumper stickers. They all say the same thing.
Right.
Move on, like the Clinton. Let's move on. That was the bumper sticker for Clinton. Remember? Did you write that, Dick?
So the Tehran spent years stockpiling weapons that could be used to paralyze traffic at the Straits of Hormuz, and now they're implementing this. But what's gone on is that this has stopped Iran's potential supporters in Europe from functioning, because the only people whose oil is really being cut off are the British, the French, the Germans, and NATO.
That's Iran oil.
Yeah, U.S. oil is doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
And Iran's mines in the water for 2 weeks have rattled markets and pushed up oil prices. But that is not exposing the U.S. to unexpected oil shocks. And it's more likely, we're increasingly likely to absorb short-term rises in energy prices. Look, the consumers of America know full well that prices are going up right now in the short term. In a week or 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to come down again. There's going to be a new economic boom because oil prices are being reduced. And it's obvious that this is a short-term phenomenon. What's not short-term is the extermination of this regime in Iran and its lack of linkages with its traditional allies.
Linkages?
Linkages with its allies in the Arab world, who are now the countries being hurt most by Iran's opposition to the U.S.
And Iran is floating some bombs over to some of these people.
Yeah.
They threw a couple of things over. What are you, stupid?
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now what I believe. First of all, this economy thing with the gas prices is going to go right back down, because anyone that knows Trump knows he's not going to let this stay at all. One way or another, he's going to figure out how to get the price of oil back down. And he's not going to stay in this fight. He might bail out of this fight. Netanyahu stays in. And if Netanyahu needs him, he's going to come back and help him out.
Yeah.
So he knows he's got his back.
I think that's true. And Trump is essentially, Trump just gave Iran 48 hours to reopen the Straits of Hormuz.
Or he's going to obliterate it.
Bomb the Iranian capacity to produce electricity.
Right.
And make Iran subject to a total blackout.
And then Iran said, if you're going to do that, we're going to go after your water plants or whatever.
Yeah,
some other plants.
The main thing is, if you don't do that, we're going to go after our allies.
Yeah.
And we're going to make our allies suffer. This is just
they're like stupid.
This is like the scene from Blazing Saddles. Remember the movie?
Yeah, I love it.
They're threatening to lynch the sheriff. And the sheriff was black.
And he puts his gun to his head.
Puts the gun to his head and said, "Oh, nobody move where they're going to shoot the sheriff." And
then it's the sheriff, but we know what he's saying. That was great. And they looked at him, oh. Mel Brooks is brilliant, but it's true. No, you know what it's like? It's like a little kid saying, it was like Al Sharpton said, if we don't get this civil rights thing passed, I'm going to go on a hunger strike. All right, you fat bastard, go on your hunger strike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to hurt yourself.
So this is
all right. We're getting red face.
And if this seems crazy, if this seems nuts, it is. It's the policy of the Democratic Party. Let me summarize it. We will not permit a bill to pass the House because we're tying up the House and the Senate. We will not permit the ICE and Homeland Security to be funded, even though there's a war going on with Iran. And then the Democrats are saying, we're going to keep this up. We're going to continue to strangle this agency, even though they're in the middle of a world war against terror.
I'm trying to think who just said this today or yesterday. I'm not sure if it's John Kennedy. I don't remember who. I just read it or saw it today or yesterday about, we should stop getting paid. Congress, Senate should stop getting any money while the TSA guys aren't getting paid. Let's see what happens.
But more
and he wants to pass a bill.
When we have the white ICE agents who are getting paid,
that's great.
Come in and replace the Senate.
I love that. That's 3D chess. That's Trump. I can't wait to talk to him about this.
The Dick Morris Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.